Let me ask you a question. If you have an employee who moves from jurisdiction A to jurisdiction B, when that employee has a transaction in their equity awards, which jurisdiction do you need to withhold taxes in? This is a question that I get with some frequency. And whenever I get this question, I always think, I have some bad news for you. Because oftentimes the answer is both. And this is a question that I've been getting more frequently over the past year. Now, I would have thought with all the shelter-in-place orders in effect that most employees would just be staying put. But it turns out that when given the opportunity to work remotely 100% of the time, many employees realized that they could do their work from anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, and many employees took advantage of that opportunity. This is the focus of the spring issue of the NASPP Advisor newsletter. Our feature article is by Marlene Zobayan of Rutland Associates. Marlene is an expert in employee mobility, and in the article, she talks about 3 new types of mobile employees that have emerged as a result of the pandemic. The first are forced displacements. These are employees who got stranded somewhere due to travel restrictions. The second are chosen displacements. These are the employees I was just talking about. The ones who, when told to work from home, realized they would really rather work from somewhere other than where they actually lived. And then the third are what Marlene calls virtual relocations. These are employees who actually didn't move at all. They're newly hired employees who normally would have relocated, except that the office was closed, so there wasn't any reason for them to make the move. Each of these employees comes with their own unique tax implications that you need to be concerned about as an employer. But let's just focus on what some of the basic rules are. The first basic rule is that residents are often taxed on worldwide income. This isn't always the case, but it is often the case. The second is that non-residents are usually taxed on sourced income. So if an employee is working in a location where they are not resident, they oftentimes have to pay tax in that location on the income they earn while they are working there. This means that employees who are working in locations where they are not resident oftentimes end up paying tax in 2 locations: the location where they are resident and the location where they are working. Now, the employee may be able to get a credit on their tax return in their residency location for the taxes that they pay in other jurisdictions, but that credit does not always impact your obligations as an employer. I've been using the words often, generally, most, because anytime you are dealing with multiple jurisdictions, the rules absolutely are going to vary by jurisdiction. Not all jurisdictions follow those 2 basic rules that I just discussed. And this is an area where things can get very complicated very fast. Income sourcing rules can vary by jurisdiction, determination of residency can vary by jurisdiction, and there can be arrangements between jurisdictions like tax treaties or reciprocity agreements that can impact the employee's tax liability and your obligations as an employer. All of which is to say that this is not a do-it-yourself project. Mobility compliance is an area where you really want to be working with an expert advisor who can help you sort through all the rules that apply in all the jurisdictions where your employees are living and working, and help you come up with a strategy to minimize the company's risk. When developing that strategy, what you really want to focus on is your obligations as an employer. It is certainly possible that as an employer, you could have an obligation to report income and withhold taxes in all of the jurisdictions where your employees have lived and worked throughout the life of their awards. That may not always be the case, but it is certainly a possibility. And there's certainly more to say on this topic. In the spring issue of The Advisor, in addition to Marlene's feature article, we have a top 10 list on how to get started with your mobility compliance program. And Jen Namazi in Administrator's Corner gives you 4 ways you need to update your processes for the current environment that we're all working in. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get updates when we post new videos. And thanks for watching.